Hello, I'm Chylli from Channel Chylli, also known as Try, and we are back with more Limbus Company, and we're getting right back into spring cultivation here. Zilo and Sod appear to have aged several years overnight, their faces sunken and sallow. Finally, after referencing the idiocracies and various statistical data available to us regarding each sinner, we managed to come up with an appropriate curriculum. Miss Silu, apologies. Sleep deprivation has relieved me of my clear mind. The path of an educator is truly a grueling one. Marching to battle would be much easier. Still, thanks to Mr. Xichun's methodology you've shared, we managed to find a way to make this quite efficient. To be a true family hierarch, there are dozens, hundreds of virtues one must understand and master. However, to do so in 30 days, as promised, is implausible effort. Thus, we have categorized the countless virtues into 3 subcategories, and they are called... What are these supposed to be? Xichun and Ren. She wisdom, the wise lose neither people nor words, so hold one's silence and mute of speech shall cost them people. To speak and need of silence shall cost them words. A reasonable sequence of logic, young, courage, the ability to overcome fear, to act decisively, have too much of it and risk becoming a brute. Have too little and risk becoming a craven. It needs harmony and balance. So how far are we allowed to go with corporal punishment anyway? I recommend no instance of any discussion regarding corporal punishment. And Ren, humanity is the benevolence of the heart, the compass of behavior that dictates respect toward every human. Clearly, most of the facilities in the school are severely lacking in all 3 of your criteria. Just how do you think they'll be able to teach the student anything? Yeah, someone has a reason and needs a lesson in Ren. Are you sure I'm in good hands? Just what the heck am I supposed to learn here? Where's Wei? Mr. Wei and Miss Xichun are currently quite preoccupied with handling the monumental task of paperwork. Alright, Mr. Wei wanted me to deliver this message to you. Be strong, my lady. Wei, despite her protestations, the 30 days of classes commenced. Okay, so this seems kind of like a tutorial right now. My name is Yisong, that is all. The class I prepared for the day. I've heard plenty about your mirror tech, which makes me wonder, going by the level of advancement in this technology, can you ever approach it with a different angle? You know how technological advancement usually goes. People invent for the sake of creation, only to have their inventions inevitably warp into weapons of destruction. Indeed, you so much promise already. As you surmise now, the mirror has in the past almost been employed to shatter possibilities instead of reflecting them. I'm sure that's the angle most others wanted to see happen. Removal of potential risks sounds much more palatable than potential itself to some people after all. Correct again, yet destruction was a word that bore too much suffering for my heart. My sole egress from it was abandonment of that. Condom fellows and my life's work make myself a fugitive of the past. How did you bring yourself to just abandon it all? I conversed with who, with myself that lies within me. As you're aware, the mirror's reflection extends beyond the veils of our own reality. It reflects the possibilities, the latent strengths in the world. Yet even among them, the reflection of the greatest importance is that of the self. Let not the innumerable worlds of the mirror enchant your gaze. First, one must direct their studies inward and reflect upon oneself. Now, if you prepare to explain what you see in the mirror, you need it in haste. For some reason, Xichun appeared to hesitate before the mirror. Hey, you know, it's been a while since I looked into the mirror for so long. My lady, do you recall Xichun of the Shi family who contacted you for a meeting? Yeah, the guy who said he was going to show me a precious flower that blooms only at night. I remember you were vehemently against me going out there, so I stayed inside. I wonder what kind of flower it was. Don't tell me you were actually looking forward to meeting him, my lady. Oh, of course not. You were wise to stay inside. It was revealed that you weren't the only person who was invited, my lady. That vile man had hired a group of assassins to ambush the meeting spot and would have been waiting there to spring the trap had you gone. But apparently he was outplayed and has his limbs and head torn off his punishment. What a relief, isn't it? I guess. I'm glad I didn't go away. You were right. If only you still had the Wu branch under your control. Stop it. We agreed to move on from that, remember? We don't have to talk about it. I was brushing my hair and looking into the mirror as we were talking, but I realized that I no longer recognized the girl in the mirror. I don't know why, but I just found it so hard to meet her eyes. Sorry, I was locking my door really quickly so my cats don't break in and interrupt my recording. But I brushed it off because I had to. An experience like that was going to be a common occurrence anyway, and the family hierarch war was always looming on the horizon. Perhaps what you felt then may have been shame. But it is paramount to face oneself nonetheless, nay, especially so if it was. And Sinclair, what do you see? I see myself smiling. I don't see what's so out of the ordinary. But it seemed like Sinclair couldn't really bring himself to face the mirror. After what we just discussed, I think I understand something now. Now that I've had a quiet time looking at my reflection, I think I uncovered a part of myself I had hidden away for a long time. Okay, so you can only do 2 of them right now, I understand. Well, I mean, you can only do 2 of Dom's right now, you cannot do a 3rd Dawn, which I wouldn't really need anyway, because I don't really need the morale. It is true that a station of teaching is prone to imbue one with a sense of bashfulness. Sinclair and Xichun was sat with a bit of apprehension as well, which is understandable given what Sod had told them sometime before this lesson started. Some time ago, Otis, who had been glaring daggers at Don Quixote for a good while, finally decided to voice her doubts to Sod. So what is Don Quixote, that woman, supposed to teach? Have you not considered that our usual flippancy might only cause more trouble than it's worth? You worry too much, Otis. While she may not look it, Don Quixote is extremely well versed in those adventure tales. And why would any of that matter? Have you yourself considered that fixers often appear when history is in the making? Let us see here. Don Quixote took a second to savor the moment as though she had been preparing her whole life for it, then continued. Among the greatest fixers whose honored names were engraved in history, verily, let us commence this lesson with the tale of the fixer, Yue Fei. This tale beginneth in the year sometime later. Are you done? Just how long can she continue to talk at such a length? She's been going on for ages. Thus cometh the time to test thy dedication to this class and thy knowledge that should naturally come with it. A pop quiz, if you will, if thou wilt. When does she even find the time to prepare this? I can assure thee 'tis a quiz of entirely reasonable difficulty if thou hast paid attention in class, worry thee not. Does this pop quiz have any prizes? But of course I've prepared for such inquiries. For each correct answer I shall bestow upon thee from the very treasure chest of mine these precious fixer badges. Forsooth, I did not let a single day go by in which I did not polish each and every one of them on 3 separate occasions at the very least. I don't know, I don't really need them. Hold thine applause, for there is the bonus reward for the victor. By the end of this match, carries more badges, thou shalt attain the role of a protagonist in the theatrical play of my making. Fixer Chronicles Yue Fei. It is an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm still not really... it's not doing anything for either of us. It's still a pretty useless reward, but if you're trying this into a competition, I won't lose. Seriously? What, scared you'll lose? Is history your weakness or something? I'll have you know that I was a teacher's pet in every single history class I took. Then I'll have you know that I was, no matter the subject, showered with praise from every master I ever had. Okay, if that's how you want to play it, I'll have you know that I was a prodigy in other classes too. I did great in your classes, pretty good at math too. I was just being humble because I didn't want to steal your thunder, Xichun. Oh, then let me tell you that I was trained in the mastery of at least 10 different disciplines every single day, and on one of those days, you know what one of my masters told me? He said... It's like Mistress Xichun finally getting a feel for how friendships close in age are formed in school. That's good, no matter how excellent her masters were, there are some experiences you just can't learn from teachers. I talked in response. 'Tis year 505. What is the historical community's consistence on the most illustrious battle that Fixer Yue Fei is said to have taken in? Allow me to impart to thee a major clue, if thou hast paid attention, as I discourse upon the 5 pillages in which the fixer UFA is mentioned. This shall not be a difficult question to answer. The honorable fixer of the Cerulean Haven, who attained triumph in the Battle of the Rhino Tree in the year 465, hath said what was the worst ordeal she had to face in her career. I got it. It's when she had to forge onward despite watching her dear comrades fall one by one as they held the line to buy her time. Damn it, I was too slow. Fie, young Xichun, that was incorrect. Honorable Fixer of the Cerulean Haven is recorded to have testified that the worst ordeal in her career was when she was forced to stand before her enemies with hair that was not lustrous. Luscious as the supply line breakage caused her regular delivery of nutritional supplements to cease, what thou hast suggested, young Xichun, was her 17th most difficult ordeal. She's speaking like she was actually there. That impression is quite understandable, for I am trained in the ways of vividly regaling these tales, but most of these are tales I've learned from books. What should I anticipate to the opportunity to regale these sort of tales to an audience enough to study the ways of minstrels? There's a clear look of pride in her twinkling eyes. Was the secret technique Honorable Fixer Lysander employed in his resolution in the case of the Fey Forest? Speak its name in full. I got it. It's a Summer Night's Fantasia. Yet I cannot let pass such an unmotivated retelling of the super ultimate move. Hardly could one internalize the true noble spirit of fixers by simply reciting it with such apathy. They must recreate the exact pose and enunciation. Are you kidding me? Come on, you can do this, Xichun. You can do this. This is nothing. A legions of a midsummer night shall devour thee whole. A summer night Fantasia. That enunciation was quite shaking upon the word illusions, yet thou hast demonstrated sufficient courage, thus I bestow upon thee this badge. I grow tired of this nonsense. Just how much longer are you planning to drag this on? Thus muttered the hero, then declared, I shall tear this evil storm asunder and find a place for thine blade at the center of thy heart. Dante lights, left side. Gotcha. Don Quixote, who was watching Sinclair and Xichun's troopers in place, silently wiped her tears away. Bravo, bravo. Certain minor details were missed, such as that UFA, the fixer, was left-handed and had a habit of playing with a lighter in his left pocket before every duel, yet 'twas a wonderful reenactment indeed. I have no other critique to impart upon thee. When faced with great adversity in thine adventures, we kindle the memory of UFA, the fixer's final duel. Remember it well. Thus cometh to an end the lessons of today. It was just for a moment, but I think I'm starting to get it. I get why she's so obsessed with fixers. Clutched tightly in Xichun's hand were the badges Don Quixote had gifted to her. This is a component part taken from the structure that forms H-Corp. This may prove to be an opportunity to conduct an in-depth analysis on the nature of the former H-Corp singularity, which has been enduring for such a long time. You look kinda upbeat today, Miss Faust. Indeed, an opportunity to study the old H-Corp singularity is not one that comes often. And there was potential for integration into Mephistopheles. I made a request to disassemble a part of the bus's engine, but it was denied. A shame. Aren't you the one who built Mephistopheles, though, Miss Faust? Mephistopheles is indeed Faust's work, but not all of it was mine. It is possible that Faust may never reveal every small detail that went into its creation. I would very much enjoy a chance to completely disassemble it, even its engines, so it could be reassembled with my own hands. So that's how it works. I think I get it. I didn't think this is how I'd get to learn more about the old H-Corp. I don't think I can do much against the reconstruction days right now, but... this knowledge will certainly come in handy when the day comes for me to gradually dismantle that insidious iniquitous thing. The day when Hongyuan can be a place where people can live without fear, without the fear of the encroaching reconstruction days, without obsessively counting their rooms to see if they'll fall or not. Until Hongyuan can be a place where you can sleep with the promise of safe tomorrows. I'm sure you'll pull it off. Oh, and I learned a lot during this lesson too, Miss Faust. The voltage must have been set too high, repeating experiment with a different combination of fuses and wires. There was supposed to be a lesson somewhere in there, right? Unlike some other classes, which were more on the upbeat side of things. The rooms there felt grim and solemn as soon as everyone saw what Gregor had written on the chalkboard. On war, losing a wing war leaves a much larger, lasting impact than some medium-sized enterprises closing up shop. It might be too soon to talk about this, but we came pretty darn close to one recently, didn't we? We were this close to a large-scale war breaking out right here, which absolutely would have happened if Miss Xichun here failed to finish her ascension. It would have spread like wildfire, too. So my class is going to be about what exactly happens when a war... The piece of chalk slid from Gregor's fingers as he went to scribble something on the board. His left hand was trembling as though the room's temperature had plummeted only for him. Man, why's it gotta... Excuse me, Miss Elu, is it okay if I smoke? Go ahead. You good? Well, when else am I going to get a chance to share the realities of war right to a wing chief executive officer's face? The moments that don't just come off your skin, no matter how hard you scrub at them. Hey, take a break if you need it. I'm gonna listen to every word you have to say here today, no matter how long it takes. Man, do I appreciate that sentiment. Well, still though, I can't dilly-dally when Miss Xichun's got other stuff to deal with. So let's take a look at how things were at the very beginning of the Wing War. And that's why the Smoke War fronts were mostly characterized by trench warfare. No one wanted to risk fighting in concrete jungles when they would be surrounded by enemies at all times, so everyone tried to draw each other out to an open field battle, which naturally turned into trench warfare. Of course, every wing has a different singularity, so this isn't really applicable to most cases. It's just that the former G-Corp found flat plains easier to maneuver in. I feel like Dagwan Yuan could make a pretty good use of Hong Yuan as a defensive fortress, especially with its internal structure constantly shifting around, which the Heishou know when used very well. Exactly, this should explain why they were hesitating outside Dagwan Yuan. Remember the thumb fellas, the one we met who were going in circles. Not to mention how the Heishou all utilize the topography of Hong Yuan differently. Even an outsider were to get a read on how one of the branches maneuver around Hong Yuan. As long as the 12 Heishou branches are standing, Hong Yuan is unassailable. Well, despite going into all that, I'm sure we all know what the best answer in all warfare is. Not having a war in the first place. I'll be honest, I can't stop thinking about some of the stories you've been telling us. I can't even imagine what it would have been like to not only witness it, but go through all that. We did visit your fathoms, Gregor, but that wasn't even the tip of the iceberg. The city was devoured in smoke, its citizens in madness. He'd always shrug off those stories as ramblings of the past, but during the war, he stood at the center of the heartless machine. That was the city. His very gear calibrated to slaughterhouse precision to maximize the death of its people. And he must have witnessed things far worse than the worst the city presently has to offer. His eyes glazed beyond the veil of the bygone past, shaking relentless in pursuit of what was no more. Oh boy, sorry fellas, I'm afraid I got carried away lamenting what happened, that I forgot this was supposed to be a class. I'll be sure to prep everything more useful next time. No, everything you told me really solidified my resolve. The chaos within Hong Yuan needs to come to an end soon, lest something so horrible come to happen. I'm heading to my next class. Wait for me. Even after the two students had left, Gregor lingered in the room for a while, lighting up cigarette after cigarette without erasing what was written on the chalkboard. Smoke soon filled the room. He left only after almost emptying the entire pack. Our class is going, Xichun. I'm not you, big bro. I pay attention in class. Oh, hello, Miss J.O. She's really insistent on helping me out, even though I refused because she looked preoccupied. The moment I found out about the contents of his lesson plan, I simply could not allow him to do this alone. Looks like it's going to be another serious class. Apologies to the delayed greetings. The Lane family formally extends her greetings to the Venerable Hierarch. Been a while since I heard that greeting around here. Wait, what about Big Sis Vouchai? Are you sure it's okay for a Xichun family bodyguard to be here? I am no longer employed by Miss Vouchai's guard. Wait, don't tell me we got you. Everything I did on that day, including accompanying you, was under Miss Vouchai's orders. As for why she no longer needed my services, I don't understand myself. She suddenly let me go after the trouble was over. So what's there for you to teach me, big bro? Your last lesson plan about not making things awkward got vetoed by Zilu, so... You could have taught me a thing or two if we were still kids, but come on, you spent most of your time stuck in Yi Hung Yuan before leaving Hung Yuan. I don't know what you could possibly have to teach me. Don't you worry, Xichun. This is the one thing I think I'm pretty good at. My lesson for Xichun and Sinclair is, in clear knee handwriting, Hong Liu Rose surviving Hung Yuan on the chalkboard. Oh, well, I don't think I need any help in that department from you. Look, I know you've had your share of assassination attempts, big bro, but Jiamil. I mean, the previous hierarch and the Elder's favor sheltered you from the worst of it. She's not wrong. Back when we had to fight our way through a bunch of the sweepers, weren't you also one of the handful who got assassinated? Oh, that? I was wandering the hallway because I felt like something was off about my room. Until Dante told us all to go back to our rooms, of course. Wait, it was my fault? You do have some intuition, I'll give you that. Looks like I'm going to have to prove myself. Dea, would you mind preparing the thing? You have my utmost faith, but please do practice caution. Sometime later, Lindeo appeared with 4 bowls splashing with tea before sprinkling some powder into one of them. What's that? That's powdered wolfsbane. I see where this is going. You're going to teach me how to tell which of these bowls contains poison, right? You can stop now. I learned how to recognize infamous poisons like wolfsbane when I was 7. If it was something as tame as what you're suggesting, Venerable Hierarch, I would not have been here to accompany him. Lindeo continued her process, sprinkling wolfsbane powder into 2 more bowls. Hung Liu, who was watching that with an oddly contented expression, closed his eyes. Please, mix them up, Deo. Okay, wait, what? We stared in confusion, and we could hardly tell what was going on with the speed at which Lindeo swapped around the bowls. When we looked back at Hong Wu, there were 3 silver spoons in his hand. The silver spoons were custom-made at Daguan Yuan's request, a must-have item for children of the 4 Grey Houses. They can detect non-sulfuric poison as well. Yeah, I know, they're actually what? It's nothing. In Hong Yuan, they are beset by threats of assassination from all directions. Knowledge alone is enough to save you. What the heck are you? But Hong Liu opens his eyes before Xichun can finish her sentence. Then he throws the silver spoons in his hands like throwing pins toward 3 of the bowls. And immediately chugs the 4th bowl, which he hadn't thrown a spoon at. Holy crap, were you insane? You barely even checked them for... Xichun's noir tea is always delicious even when cooled. The 3 silver spoons hung at Casterly were slowly melting away after quickly becoming tarnished black. Is wolfsbane poison supposed to melt through metal? People like to be thorough with their poisons in Dagwon Yuan. Since everyone's been trained for immunity since childhood, you have to make a mixture of various poisons to have a real effect. Fine, I don't even want to argue. What's your secret? I want to know too, do they sound different or something? I just went with my hunch. Just a hunch. How are we supposed to learn that we're not Heathcliff, you know? You'll get the hang of it after a few tries. I'll help you out. Shall we begin with 2, boss? I see. When you say you avoid what's fell wrong with a hunch, you are reflexively identifying the threat by reading the room and connecting it to your intuitive experiences. You're using Miss Deo's anxious breathing to clue you in, so this is how you managed to survive for so long. Listen carefully, Xichun. I know that the adepts of Xichun will come to your aid with a flick of your wrist. And I know that your residence, Yuanjiangwu, will be engineered by the best craftsmen to have a safe fortress stocked to the brim with all kinds of useful boluses to protect your life. Even still, there will come a day when you start to feel this creeping sensation whose origin you can't identify, and when it does, I hope you won't brush off that sensation as nothing. You're worrying over nothing. Xichun whipped away from Hong Liu as if to express dissatisfaction, but her softened expression told me she was glad to see him worried. Every 6 days, you will be subject to midterms prepared by the board of directors, Jia Yuanchun. A palanquin has been prepared to take you to the exam sites, and only by passing the mini-test may Jia Xichun retain her status as the family hierarch. My lady, oh, don't worry yourself over much. Master Wei, you sound like you're at a funeral. She will pass these tests with ease as long as she has been diligently taking her classes. No, I simply hope I can survive until she returns. It seemed that Wei's rather funereal voice wasn't just out of concern for Xichun. Wei, are you sure you're okay? I can't escape them even in my dreams, the unfinished bundles of paperwork cascading over me like a storm burying me. Seal yourself, for that was no dream at all. In fact, never have I once seen paperwork trained in the arts of airs walking until now. I must be severely sleep-deprived. Looks like we're not the only ones going through the ringer. Hey, you're one of the Sea Boys. We finally meet. I had hoped to fight you in the family hierarch war. If you'd run into me then, isn't this supposed to be a sparring match? Why does it sound like you have a personal grudge against me? Oh, it's nothing, nothing at all. When in the world would I ever hold a grudge against you? The results of the family hierarchy war couldn't be any clearer, and everyone even remotely connected to the mass has all been dragged away and put under investigation. And hey, guess what? They dragged away half of my family, which means more room for me. I should really thank you, right? Honestly, why don't you just declare a war against the Xi family at this point? Wouldn't that be much easier? War's not easy, it never is. What are you on about all of a sudden? It's not something we should be talking about so lightly, even as a joke. Your family was arrested because they're under investigation for treason against Daguan Yuan. If they're innocent, I'm sure they'll be released soon enough. I know it's pretty much a given that they'll be ruled as guilty regardless of what really happened. You know I can't even pay them a visit because you've hidden their cells all over Hong Yuan. They're not hidden. All holding cells within Hong Yuan have been designed to move around in very short intervals. You know, that does seem like the kind of design that would lead people to make some unfortunate assumptions, though I'm pretty sure the initial purpose was to prevent escapes. I recently gained a better understanding of Hong Yuan's structure, so I'm planning to change our policy so that prisoners still on trial are allowed to have a fixed location. Really? Where do you... I was lucky enough to take a few excellent classes recently, managed to reflect upon myself a bit too. You did change a riddle. Still, you'd better not expect me to go easy on you. I've got my own things to take care of. Good, come on, let's do this. Many illustrious fixers of the past have said that naught but disparagement awaits unjust victories. Honestly, I was not expecting this fight to be entirely AI controlled. Good for you, you won. Now stop giving me that look and get out of here. You lost more of your clan during the family hierarchy war, didn't you? We're sorry, most. Yeah, so what? Are you calling me a penniless loser? Yeah, you little... And I'm sure that's what I look like to you, too. I don't want your... Sorry, every clan member who died in the evaluation have died for nothing. If I show weakness, that means I'm making everyone who participated in the evaluation look weak, so I'm going to win, and I'm going to win without the fertile soil my predecessors have left behind. Because their legacy was unjustly nourished by the blood and tears of Hong Yuan itself. Xichun, you're tenacious, determined, and strong of will. That must be why everyone stood by you, down to the last man. You knew my name, ma'am. I do, so what do you think? Want to make them sing your name in glory for the remaining history of Hong Yuan? Okay, my progress does save when I exit, so that's good. Already managed to come out on top on your first sparring match, congratulations. Thanks, I gotta admit, your classes are definitely coming in handy. I like your attitude. Well, shall we take a look at what I prepared for today? You're teaching about exploring. It's going to be an indoors class. Yep, exploring. Where should I begin? It's a very big subject. Free soloing to the top of the highest building in Hong Yuan, surviving 10 days in Hong Yuan backstreets with only 3 items. I had plenty of ideas, but most of them got denied. And rightly so, and that's when I realized that exploring isn't always limited to adventures in the physical space. A few weeks ago, I'm just here to fill in since the game needs a certain number of players, but really, can you call this tabletop game an adventure? You had games to make believe any simulacra can be made as real as... What a move. Oh nice, I'm gonna roll for damage. Young Ishmael, thou hast absolutely pummeled the Gorgon beast with thy fireball spell, rendering him most crispy. It was a formidable foe. That was wonderfully executed, Miss Ishmael. Really? Well then, that's my next move. And that's how you came up with all this? I've played a few other games, but this is new for me too. It's pretty new in general, I guess. It's called Zhonggu Journeys, or J&J. It's a popular game among Hong Yuan's youth. Has gotten generally positive reviews, too. What Ishmael so proudly presented before everyone appeared to be a board game with numerous cards and minifigures. Okay, what do these huge piles of papers have to do with exploration? Rule number 1, the most experienced player among them gathered becomes the JM. The JM? Yeah, Journey Master. The Journey Master designs the story around the player's choices, sets the stage for what happens next, and generally helps guide the explorers to safely arrive at their goal. That's why the most experienced player takes that role. Which would be me. Wisdom, strength, dexterity. Each character seems to have these things called stats. Looks like we just have to pick from a set of pre-made characters for this one. I'm supposed to be playing this character's role. Sinclair and Xichun picked up their cards with confusion clear in their eyes. You arrive at the great city of Yanyun, a place known to be the gathering hub for all kinds of influential people. You traveled here in search of a legendary treasure called the Tia Sword. The Sword of the Far Land. The city of Yanyun. Cool, so why are we looking for that sword again? It's because, so, there's this legend in Xichun about how the Tanya sword is the only way to quell the chaos in these lands and bring peace to its people, and also about how having that sword is a proof of the true leader of the lands, and so on and so forth, you know. Ishmael was stuttering and stammering through the introduction without her usual confidence. I see, the city called Xichun must be in a lot of trouble too. Seemingly affected by the oddly familiar setting of the story, Xichun nodded solemnly, without noticing Ishmael stumbling through the introduction. Well, you know how it is. The point is, you guys need to go find that sword. Then I will claim the Tianya sword no matter what it costs me. Xichun nods with determination. From the rumors you've gathered, it seems that the Kissing Keep seems to have kept the whereabouts of the sword. What will you do? I walk up to the Kissing Keep, chat him up, and try to gain his trust. Are you sure? Remember, your wisdom is extremely low right now, which means you'll find it hard to form even the simplest sentences. What if I found a different way to gain the Kissing Keep's trust that doesn't involve sweet-talking him? I do have a pretty high strength stat, which should help me gain access to certain alternative methods of persuasion that doesn't require skill in speechcraft. Hold on, I'll try to convince the Kissing Keep. I think I've got a decent chance at this. My wisdom is pretty high. And you pass the check. The Xichun Keep looks at you, having lowered his guard. Oh, not you, Sinclair. He's still pretty wary of you. Okay then, I guess I'll just stand in the corner over here, unsheath my weapon, and play around with it for a bit. That's what he expects me to do anyway, isn't it? You're just role-playing Heathcliff now, aren't you? The Xichun Keep shares some information about the sword he heard. He explains that the party should seek northeast toward Yanshi Mountain. But what's this? Tears begin to well in the Xichun Keep's eyes as he continues to explain. Apparently a patrolling guard beat his son pretty badly just for loitering around the guard. The wound is pretty severe, so he needs medicine, but he can't seem to find any. Oh no. That's too bad, but we've got a job to do. Since we have what we came for here, we leave the Kazan. Well, they say that JMs aren't supposed to interfere with the player's choices, but let's be honest, I would have made the same choice. You can't stop and help out every little side quest when there's a whole lot of adventure to go through. No, we're not leaving. I'm going to get him that medicine. After a few turns of various trials and tribulations for Sinclair, the Xichun Keep's son, who fortunately was able to recover, hears your story and hesitantly shares what he knows. You realize that he's talking about the fairy Yaoguai, guardian of the Tianyan sword. He explains that the fairy Yaoguai's power grows under bright moonlight. Hold on, it's in the full moonlight right now, then we shouldn't wait until the sky's overcast. Hearing that, the innkeeper's son takes a quick look at the clouds and tells you that it might be raining in about a week. Glad we helped him out. Okay, let's make sure we're prepared before we go. You're going to have to roll a 15 or higher to hit. I know, I'm focused. Hey, I rolled a 16. With a final singular strike from Xichun, the fairy Yaguai finally falls to the ground defeated. Yes, the Tianyan sword is ours. Excited, the party runs up to the sword embedded deep into the earth and grabs enthusiastically upon the hilt. With this, we can, however, the defeated fairy Yaguai, whom the party assumed was dead, suddenly jumps to its feet and lunges at Xichun, who just pulled the sword from the ground. I quickly get between Xichun and the monster. But what if that crits? It's going to be pretty deadly even for you. Let's see if you can make the evasion save. One and another one. No, that's a critical fail. Sinclair falls to the ground, bleeding profusely from the gaping wound. The Yaguai lies still as well, the final vestiges of its strength completely spent. Sinclair! Go on without me. Take that sword and go down to the village. Become the leader they need. That sword is your priv. No, this sword wouldn't mean anything without my adventuring buddy. I'm going to bandage Sinclair up and carry him back. I won't leave him behind and descend the mountain all on my own. Wait, if that's your choice, then yeah, the bleeding stops as soon as you wrap him up. He's just that sturdy, you know? That strike would have killed pretty much anyone, but you know how healthy he is. On your feet, Sinclair, we're going to get out of here together. Grab onto my shoulders, that's it, step by step. Hey, Xichun, look over there. Everyone we've helped and saved on our journeys come out to welcome us home. You're right. If it weren't for you, Sinclair, I never would have stopped and talked to every single villager there to hear their troubles. This sword was only a symbol all along. All their efforts and the experiences we gained in our journey for the sword were what taught me how to be a good leader, not the sword itself. You're right, the real success of this adventure was everyone's efforts along the way. I feel like the game overtook the class at some point along the way. Alright, and since we're getting close to an hour, that's what I'm gonna call it for today's video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time when we continue with more Limbus Company. Until then, bye!